Hi, I'm LDS in Medium, and thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to try to bring religion and spirituality closer together, and this is what this pod is all about. I will talk about my own thoughts and feelings as I am both LDS and have spiritual gifts, something that I've had my whole life, but I always thought that it was hard to combine these gifts with my religion. This has torn me into two directions, and I have talked to many people who feel the same way. I can't choose not to have my spiritual gifts, but I can choose how I use them. And I always want to use them for good and to help others. I believe my heavenly parents gave them to me for a reason. So, this is me. Join my quest for knowledge.
1 Nephi 14. In this chapter we are still with Nephi, and he's still with the angel. I came as far as reading the first verse, and then I had to stop and think, what is it that I'm reading? And it shall come to pass, that if the Gentiles shall hearken unto the Lamb of God in that day, that he shall manifest himself unto them in word, and also in power, in very deed, unto the taking away of their stumbling blocks. Let's stop there for a little bit. What does this verse mean? Because now that I'm reading it, it comes to me that once I start putting Christ first in my life, he will inspire my words, will fill me with power, but most importantly, he will take away my stumbling block. And thinking about it in this way, he did all of that for me. He did all of it. When I work with healing, we talk about following lightness in the body. Or in sports, you talk about flow. Flow is the term when you have momentum and everything is easy. You have flow in movement, in timing. It just comes together. But it has absence of stumbling blocks. And even though life can still be hard at times, there is this absence of stumbling blocks that makes it easier to walk on the path leading to Christ. In verse 3 we read, "And that great pit, which hath been digged for them by that great and abominable church, which was founded by the devil and his children, that he might lead away the souls of men to hell. Yea, that great pit which hath been digged for the destruction of men, shall be filled by those who diggeth it, unto their utter destruction, says the Lamb of God." I don't know about you, but for me, that verse talks about karma. What comes around goes around. They dug a pit, but they are the ones falling into it. Karma is a universal law, and I haven't thought about it in regards to the scriptures, but reading this, it kind of stood out to me. Now, I want to jump to verse 10. "And he said unto me, Behold, there are saved two churches only. The one is the church of the Lamb of God, and the other is the church of the devil. Wherefore, whose belongeth not to the church of the Lamb of God, belongeth to the great church, which is the mother of abomination, and she is the whore of all the earth." Growing up, I always thought that this was aiming for another big church on earth. But as I got older, I'm not sure he's talking about a church at all. If we look at most religions, they all have bits and pieces from the gospel in them. I look around the earth and I see churches opening up communication between them. I know in Sweden that the we against them has changed a lot since I grew up. And it is a more allowing community among churches. What do you think? Is this speaking about other churches? Or is it something totally different that he is pointing towards? Because as he talks about this further in verse 11, it reads, "And it came to pass that I looked and beheld the whore of all the earth, and she sat upon many waters, and she had dominion over all the earth, among all nations, kindreds, tongues, and people." I don't get the feeling that he is talking about a church, but of something similar, that we can choose to worship, that takes our eyes away from Christ. What is the common denominator in our time today? What is it that influences every human and every child in our time? What is the decree to us that is asked of us to comply with? What is standing in the way of our free agency? Is the great and abominable church really a church, or just a representative of something that is occurring all over the world at this time? That is my question. I think I know the answer, but I don't know if it's right. Let's read in verse 14. "And it came to pass that I, Nephi, beheld the power of the Lamb of God, that it descended upon the saints of the church of the Lamb, and upon the covenant people of the Lord, who were scattered upon all the face of the earth, and they were armed with righteousness and with the power of God in great glory." The power of the Lamb of God could be that virtue he's talking about, We know that Christ felt the power of virtue leave him when they touched his garments to be healed. How important is virtue in our personal life to stand strong against the massive attacks from the world around us? The more I read these chapters, I start to believe that it is more in regards to our time, especially that it pointed out the Apostle John as someone who would write about this and the last days and the end of the world as we know it. But more people have seen it and written it, yet to come forward. I feel the time is moving faster and faster, so I wonder, how long will it take for us before we can get more records? I also like how Nephi described it as being carried away in the spirit. Dream a dream, see a vision, or be carried away in the spirit. What is the difference? I think in my heart I understand what it means, but I will keep that in my head until I'm certain. I'd love to get your take on it though. Be the light, share the light, spread the light, shine.
This is my journey. Thank you so much for keeping me company today. Please download, like, share, and subscribe, and help spread the light and spread the word to expand our community. Let's bring more love, peace, and unity to this world. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Always be grateful, kind, and loving. Be brave and remember to step out of your comfort zone and smile. If you support us on Patreon, you will get access to our meditations and extra materials so you can download them as MP3. Also, we now have a Facebook group, which you can access from our Facebook community. Please answer the questions as you apply to participate. It will be a safe haven where we can keep discussing religion and spirituality, our spiritual gifts, and self-development. Remember, one person can make a difference, but together we can change the world.